Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Tuesday the 24th of February.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
We attend the launch of a government campaign against teenage pregnancy.
It's Tech Tuesday. We meet a man who fixes the most important gadget in your day-to-day life.
And we sit down with a reggae superstar during his trip to the heart of Africa.
Good morning. It's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahario.
And me, Regis Isheja. Over the next hour, we'll bring you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here in studio. So guys, it's Tuesday morning. What do we have in the world of the money?
Well, in the money, I believe you took over this week. You have something special for us for Tech Tuesdays. We should look out for
It's
that.
been a long-lasting fantasy of mine.
You're welcome.
Alan, what do you have for entertainment, lifestyle?
Well, in lifestyle, actually, we have entertainment for you. We have a reggae superstar who's going to be in. I'm going to be showcasing this reggae superstar.
Oh, right.
And Arnold's not around for sports, so you're going to be taking over there too,
I'm
right?
doing a lot today.
The whole show is about
I'm
it.
multitasking.
It's Team Regis today.
I'm
All right.
trying, man. I'm trying.
Well, all that and more is still to come, but first, Rise and Shine story of the day.
Over the weekend, the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion, together with the Ministry of Education, launched its second annual anti-teenage pregnancy campaign as part of the efforts made to prevent and educate Rwandans about the issue. Our very own Alan Karakire attended the conference to find out more. Let's take a look.
The government has launched an 8-month campaign against teenage pregnancy. The campaign, which is second of its kind, will be conducted by the Ministries of Gender and Family Promotion and Education in more than 60 schools around the country.
We're going to raise awareness at all sides, girls' sides, parents, community. So we'll be visiting schools because we need really to have our girls, our young people. It's not only girls, because boys also, they're involved in that problem. So we need to raise awareness. We need to talk to them, for them to have confidence, to have a purpose, to know that they are in school, to have a diploma, to have a bright future. But also we need to work at the parent side, like we said, in Mugura Wababyeyi, parents to get together to talk about how really we can give a better education, how we can really be there for our children to avoid them to be involved in that, to have that problems.
The conference attracted representatives from different organizations and government institutions, such as police, head of faith-based organizations, and the Parents Association.
Umwanya munini umwana wumarana n'ababyeyi, icyo ni kimwe. Icya kabiri, kandi umuntu yarabyaye ngo arere, ntabwo yabyaye ngo arereshe. Umuntu yarabyaye ngo arere akwiye gufata umwanya wose ukenewe. Umwana akeneye ibyo kurya, umwana akeneye ibyo kunywa, umwana akeneye kwambara, umwana akeneye ibintu byinshi, ariko ibyo ngibyo hari n'undi ushobora kuba yabimuha, birashoboka. Ariko hari icyo atamuha. Ni ukuvuga ngo nyina w'umuntu bisobanuye ko na papa w'umuntu ni abantu bakomeye cyane mu buzima bw'umwana. Ibintu byose byamugirira neza niba bakwiye kubishaka, ibintu byose byamugirira nabi niba bakwiye kubimurinda cyane cyane.
With more and more households having both parents working full-time jobs to make ends meet, how can parents be more involved in their children's lives?
Hari ibintu byitwa priorities. Hari ibintu bita priorities. Mu byo bakora iteka ryose umuntu agira ibintu byinshi byo gukora, kandi byose ntashobora kubishobora. Ariko iyo agiye gukora ahera ku byangombwa cyane gusumba ibindi. Uburere bw'umwana ni priority.
According to a 2010 Rwanda Demographic Health Survey, 6% of girls aged between 15 and 19, especially in rural areas, have already begun bearing children. The campaign is an opportunity to identify the root causes of teenage pregnancy in order to propose appropriate interventions.
That problem is a problem of our society. So there is a government institution, all those ministries you saw here, but there is also local organization. We have different organizations, Profam Twese Hamwe, Rwamurek, Imut Foundation, Girls Hub, all those organizations working in really empowering girls and fighting against GBV, because it is mainly also a problem for GBV. When we are putting girls in that problem, she get pregnant, that means she has been abused. So it is really multi-sector problem, and we work with different institutions.
The campaign, which bears the theme No to Teenage Pregnancy, will be carried across the country until the 31st of October 2015. Alan Karekire, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
And joining us in studio now is Lydia Mitari from the Ministry of Education. Good morning, Lydia.
Good morning.
All right, now the first thing I want to hear about, we just heard in Alan's report that there's something called Umugoroba w'Ababyeyi, which is basically a meeting with the parents. And what exactly happens there? Because we're talking about teenagers here, and we know how tough it is for teenagers to actually listen to their parents. So what do they talk about in these meetings?
In this meeting, actually, here they're gathering together the parents, and you know that everything happening is around, not even only in Rwanda, in the whole world, the parents or families have the big role. So when it comes to the Umugoroba w'Ababyeyi, it's where the parents gathering together, they talk about the social problems at their home. There will be social problems, they can be political, they can be economic and all that. So here is where those parents that will be with those around them and talk about what is the issue in their families.
So we've seen that there are a few different things that have been contributing to the rise of teenage pregnancies here in Rwanda. Things like gender-based violence, but also maybe some parents being a bit neglecting that part of life a bit, and also education at school. But what would you say is the #1 contributing factor to this?
What I can say, I won't say maybe that it's only one factor. There are many factors that will be just behind the teenage pregnancy, but at least they can pick some. Here will be because with the teenagers, first of all, they have the families where they're coming from. And their families, they're having to play the big role to see or to give the security to their teenagers or to their children. That's one. So what I can say is that here is a contributing factor. They're rotating all corners. Here there is families. There is, apart from families, there are the environment that the children or the teenagers that they are living in. So all the surroundings, all things that are surrounding the teenagers, it's where exactly the problems will be coming in from those different areas. It's not only maybe schools, they won't be only families, but exactly the teenagers will be in schools, right? And there will be maybe restrictions maybe provided by the Ministry of Education, and maybe those rules and regulations that be followed, but still those teenagers won't stay there forever. They have they have to go to school the same time they have to go out of the school. Where they're going, even before they're reaching to their homes, there are things that they're on their way.
I'm going to push the envelope a little bit. There's this thing they used to call in the Kinyarwanda culture called kirazira.
Yeah.
Does that still apply these days? Because when you think about it, kids, teenagers having sex maybe too early, unprotected, that it didn't used to be the case back in the days. Yes, they used to get married too early maybe, but you didn't have these kind of problems before. So should we get back maybe to the roots and to that kind of education?
I think that one is better, but still there are other things to be can be looked into before maybe we go back to our real culture that we used to have before. Because you have seen, though even if you go back to that, but still we are in a modern society, that the society that the world is going fast. So that means that there is technology. Even though you go back to the norms and the beliefs of the Rwanda culture, but still you won't stop the world that is going on fast. and you want to stop the technology to go on. So that means that apart from going back to the warrior culture of the taboos and the norms of the culture, we should also look into the ways supposed to give the education, basing exactly on the things that we're having around or in place currently, not only to go back to the traditional way. That one is okay because it's a part of the culture, but still the teenagers are supposed to be having education on what's going on.
So how does this year's campaign differ from the last campaign?
Anyway, I won't say it will be quite different. There's no big difference, but still, this is to show that it will be there will be more focus on not only the girls who are getting pregnant or the teenagers, but at least on the families, to also to sensitize the parents, because it's like the parents have ignored their responsibilities, the community, at least to show that it's not all about when they talk about teenage pregnancy, it won't be only Mijaprov, Minadik and all that. It will be a general case that all of us are supposed to join hands together and fight against the teenage pregnancy.
Lydia Mitari, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure too.
You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's the month of love. Buy tickets this February with Rwanda and stand a chance to get in a lucky draw for a romantic getaway in Mombasa. 3 lucky couples stand a chance to win an all-expense paid holiday for 3 days and 2 nights at the White Sands Beach Resort and Spa. Yes, we are connecting dream.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time for the money business news. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. The National Bank of Rwanda will tomorrow issue a 3-year 15 billion Rwandan francs bond, the 4th treasury bond to be issued under the government's quarterly issuance program. Officials say they are already receiving a lot of inquiries from individual investors and institutions. The proceeds from the bond issue will be used to finance infrastructure projects and capital markets development, as did 3 other treasury bonds issued by the government last year. The central bank has reduced fears that the Rwandan economy could be heading into a deflation. This was mentioned during the presentation of the Monetary Policy and Financial Stability Statement for 2014 last week, where the Governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, Mr. John Rwangonga, said the country is not moving towards a deflation as its core inflation is still above 2%. It is hoped that this statement will reduce fears that have been expressed by some experts, indicating that the economy could be going into a deflation with inflation rates heading towards zero. And the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee has asked the Rwanda Development Board to ensure value for money while undertaking various development projects. Officials noted that there were a couple of accountability issues and gaps in designing various development projects, especially in information technology projects, which later failed during the implementation phase. They therefore asked to see new levels of value for money practices being implemented, as this will help with proper utilization for state finances. Now, as popular as smartphones have become these days, it would basically all be void without phone repairers. Charging issues, broken screens, you name the problem and I bet they can fix it. The phone repair business is one that's truly booming in Rwanda, with almost every street corner having its own here in Kigali. Regis went to find out.
It's a science in itself, and Rick knows it. Not that many people can figure out what's wrong with your phone, let alone how to fix it. It's a giant puzzle, and very few have found a way to figure it out.
maze kwiga ibintu bijyanye na electronics nibwo natangiye gukora, ariko nahereye ku bintu by'amafrigo, amacuisinière, nibyo bintu nabagiye gukora n'amapasi. noneho nyuma icyo gihe abajyana telefoni byari bitarasakara cyane nyuma nibwo byaje gusakara banza kujya gufata amahugurwa yabyo ndayije noneho mbona kubyinjiramo kubera ko nabonaga ari ibintu biri public kandi ibintu bizahoraho apana kuvuga ngo ibintu bizaza bikarangira.
In a world that revolves more and more around technology, mobile phone repairs have become staples in our lives. In Kigali, it's a booming business and they do it all. From replacing screens to fixing charging issues, it's not one phone issue they do not know how to fix.
Burya ibibazo biterwa na nyirabyo uko byamuvukiye. Wewe urugero uvuze uti ngiye ngira ikibazo cya chargeur. Hari undi ugira ikibazo cya tableau zimeneka. Gufata telefoni igakunda kumeneka. Hari undi ushobora kugira ikibazo wenda avuga ati telefoni yanjye yituye hasi amajwi arapfa. Mikro ugavuga umuntu ubwiye niyumve wowe ukumva. Icyo gihe uhindura amamikro amamouthpiece yayo. Hari ibibazo telefoni zigira ibibazo byinshi bitandukanye. Nivuga ngo buri kimwe cyose ugenda ukirepara bitewe nuko nyiracyo yaje akubwira uburwayi gifite.
In this tech shop, anything can be found, from phone chargers to batteries to USB keys. That being said, the little room at the back of the shop is the popular one. That's where Rick does his magic.
Competition zo nizabura, ariko burya ikintu cya mbere muri aka kazi gikenewe no kuba seriye mu kazi, kandi ukaba inosa, ukaba umuntu uzajya niba umuntu avuga ati nkorera iki ukakimukorera nta buryarya buriho. Kubera ko hari abantu benshi bica izina ryacu rya gitekinisiye, umuntu mushyira telefone agashobora kuba yakoramo pièce umuhaye gukora, ahubwo telefone wayizanya ari nzima ukayitwara ipfuye. Nivuga ngo ikintu twe twiremyemo cyangwa se bwanjye nivuga nge niremyemo nukuba ndi umuntu inosa. Umuntu atigira ikintu ntakaza akakimuha uko yakinsigiye kandi cyakize. Kuko hangaho ubu mfite telefone z'abantu maranye imyaka igera kuri 4 bagiye bataragaruka. Ngitegereje ko bazaza bagatwara ibyabo. Nuvuga ngo ngiye uzu nsanga ibibazo byawe birakemuka nta kibazo.
With smartphones taking over the world, has it become harder to repair them with the constant upgrades?
Iko technology igenda yiyongera niko n'ubumenyi bugenda buzamuka kubera ko ntabwo uburyo twatangiye dukora telefoni hariho z'abagore beza za gatoroshi za karasharamye ntabwo ariyo miriye cyangwa systeme tukirimo. Ubu tugeze muri Android phone ama tablet phone ugasanga bitandukanye n'ibyo mbere twari turimo.
You don't even want to imagine how we will do without people like Rick. Regis Sheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Fell in love on the first date. A beautiful girl gonna make the earth shake. I look into the mirror, all I do is stare. In the back of my mind, all I see is her.
And joining us now in studio is Abdul Karim Maniraho, commonly known as Rick, a phone repairer here in Kigali. Mwaramutse Rick.
Mwaramutseho.
Yego, ikibazo cya mbere bafite ngiye ubu muri abantu b'ibisubizo gusa ko nkanje telefone nirwa nyimena buri munsi ariko. Ako se wowe ibintu by'ubutekinisiye bwo gukora amatelefoni ese wabyigiye hehe kandi kuri wowe ubona ari nka business zo kujya mbese nk'umuntu waba urimo kureba ikiganiro cyacu akavuga ati ese tubone ko ari amafaranga arimo kweri ku buryo umuntu ashobora kuyibeshaho na amafaranga tubwire mu nshamake mbese uko bimeze.
Mu nshamake ibintu bya telefone nabyize mu ishuri. Nabanje kwiga ibintu bijyanye n'amafrigo niga electronics, noneho maze kubyiga nyuma nza kubikora namaze imyaka igera kuri 3 mbikora. Noneho nyuma naje guhindura systeme bimbonye bitewe n'inamiri igezweho, mbona yuko hagezweho ibintu bya Android cyangwa bya ama telefone mbyinjiramo. Ariko noneho ikindi kintu nuvuga ngo burya business ni ikintu we wishyizemo ukumva ko cyo cyakugirira akamaro. Nabyinjiyemo mbona yuko bishobora kongera akamaro kandi koko bihiriye akamaro, binuvuga ngo nakazi mu kandi.
Hari abantu benshi rero abantu nkawe mbita abaganga kuko hari abantu benshi biberaho bafite za Android zabo na za iPhone zabo batazi ko umunota n'ubundi zishobora kuba zimana kandi wowe ushobora kubikiza ni uri muganga. Icyo nshaka ko utubwira nanze no kubikira muri reports nubwo twize twabiganireho igihe twakoraga reports. Ese ni iki cyatumye ushaka kuba umufone repairer? Kuko tuzi ko hari abantu batekereza kubera ubujiji yuko ari ibintu utekereza ni shuguri ugatekereza uti nkeneye amafaranga reka niyo nkora telefone z'abantu. Wowe wabitekereje ute byakuje mu mutwe bite? Watangiye utukiri umwana?
Bo nkiri umwana nkuko nigeze kubikubwira no kuvuga ngo nabaye umwana ukunda gukubagana. Ofite papa wanjye yari umushoferi, yari mekanike chauffeur atwara imodoka. Ngiye nkiri umwana nigeze nayitwara ariko ntabizi ku buryo yari igiye kunyica. Noneho icyo kintu nuvuga ngo nakunze gukubagana ariko nkubaganya ibintu by'ibyuma. Nabwiye nakunze nigeze nafungura radio nshaka kumenya ngo umuntu uri muri radio ni cyangwa umenya ngo umuntu uri muri radio avugira he. Nayizengurutsa nkumva simona ariko nareba nkavugana uyu muntu ari moto. Ndayifungura ndagije umuntu ndamubura na radio birangira izimye. Ntiyongera kuvuga irashamira ku buryo ababyeyi baje kumana. Nivuga icyo kintu cyagiye kindebamwo kuba nakunda ibyo bintu byo kuba nacokoza. None nagiye mu bintu bya electricité atari uko mbikunze cyangwa se atari kwenda kubera ko gushaka kumenya ngo ese ibi bikora gute bimeze gute. Nubwo buryo naje kujyamo noneho muri telefone ariko noneho nza kwisanga noneho nabyinjiyemo neza numva ko ari nawo mwuga wanjye pe.
Ese noneho umwuga urimo wirwa ukora amatelefoni y'abantu atandukanye, ese wavuga ko bimwe mu mpamvu wenda nka business ayikora neza nubwo bwose yego udepanda kuri ibi ngibi byabajya bari uko wenda muri iki gihe hasigaye hagezweho kuzana amatelefoni wenda ari fake atari original ku buryo ariyo mpamvu akunda gupfa, cyangwa se we ubona biterwa n'iki?
Ufite telefone ziriho z'ubwoko bwose, hariho ama original hariho ama fake, ariko noneho burya telefone kugira ngo irambe biterwa na nyirayo. Wowe ufite gutunga original, ngiye ngatunga fake, iyangi karamba kuruti yawe. Kuko utunze original ukajya ifata ukubonye. Noneho ngiye utunze fake nkayitwararikaho. Buriya sana nko mu ngo abadamu benshi telefone zabo zicwa n'abana. Abantu benshi none telefone zicwa no kuzikubita hasi. Sinzi ku muntu ari kugenda ari telefone iri mu mufuka wikubise ku kintu. Burya telefone ni ikintu cyoroha. Nubundi ngiye
ifata nk'abatabashyitsi.
Ubundi ngiye mbwira nk'umu customer nk'iyaje mbwira ni telefone ni nk'umubiri ibyari dahatse. Igihe cyari cyo cyose hari gishyira telefone mu mufuka ukayivanamo ipfuye. Hari igihe telefone uyifite ukayizimya wayatsa ntiyongere kwaka. Ntabwo ari ukuvuga ngo niwe wakuriye ibibazo, ahubwo ibibazo bya telefone bibaho. Niyo mpamvu twinjiye mu kugira ngo tubikore nk'uko uzi umudokiteri cyangwa se umuganga nk'uko bivuze yagiye mu kuvura abantu ntibazashira. Niba nashira isiza birangiye. Natwe telefone kuva yakinjira mu Rwanda kuva muri 1998 telefone izaza mu Rwanda, kuva icyo gihe turevolwa kugira ngo dusubire inyuma kubijyanye na telefone.
Rick, ama telefone ama screens tuvuge. Nkanjye ngize ikibazo cya screen ntakuzanira telefone. Umwanya umwe nuwuhe, ese ama screen uyakura hehe kugira ngo ushobore kuyaramplasa wenda yanjye yamenetse? Gira icyo ubwira abantu batazi ukuntu bikorwa.
No kuvuga ngo telefone kugira PS zazo turamplasaho. Hari ama screen wenda ni uzi ariko turamplasa ama screen tukaramplasa ama plaquette ama housing bitewe n'ikibazo umuntu yagize kuri telefone. Hari amaduka ahari iyo ashinzwe gucuruza ibyo bintu gusa bacuruza ibintu bijyanye n'amapiyesi ya telefone. Noneho iyo nk'ayo maduka wenda hari nka piyesi ziba zihenze badashobora kuzana nk'amapiyesi wenda usanga nka tablo imwe igura 150 cyangwa 200, ugasanga we yagiye kujya kubizana bimuhenda. Noneho hari igihe tubituma noneho tukabigura nko kuri internet kuri za Amazon cyangwa za eBay, ukaguraho piyesi ukohereza amafaranga ku ma credit nawe bakakohereza piyesi. Ni nabwo buryo budukoramo ibintu bya software. Ibintu bya software nuvuga ngo hari nko unlockinga ama telefone, ntago hari izo unlockinga, hari nizo unlockinga online ku ruganda ukabahereza email ya telefone nabakabari bakoheza code ukayanlockinga.
Ese Rick watubwiye ati hari bamwe wavuze ati bamwe bakora amatelefone ukayikugarura yayishe kandi bamuhaye ngo ayikore. Nkanje umuntu umukiriya ntago nakwinjira ngo menye ngo uyu nguyu ni wundi ubizi ngo ne utabizi. Ese hari nk'ama certificate mugira cyangwa se ikintu ngiye cyangaragariza ko uyu nguyu arabizi yarabyigiye n'inyumuhereza ari buyimusubize imeze neza exactly, cyangwa se ndayisiga n'undi sange yayishe kurushaho ngaho?
Mbo burya icyambere kuvuga ngo ama certificate ahangaha mu Rwanda ikintu kiri hose cyangwa muri technique, burya abantu benshi bakora technique bataragiye kwiga mu ishuri. Abenshi no kuvuga ngo nanjye hariho nigishije urakaza ugafata umuntu ukamushyira muri atelier yawe ukamwigisha kwa amezi 6 amezi 8 umwaka, ukabona ko amaze kugera kuri niveau warangiza ukamubwira akagenda akikorera. Nuvuga ngo nayo yamaze kumva ari igeze au niveau ajya gushinga atelier ye. Iyo amaze gushinga atelier ye no kuvuga ngo burya aka kazi dukora habamwo impamvu ebyiri. Hari umuntu uba muri we ari inyangamugayo ubusanzwe atari mu kazi. Urumva iyo bigeze no mu kazi ntago bishira ahubwo biriyongera. Hakabaho na wa muntu noneho muri we wumva ari bisanzwe ushobora kuba yahemuka. Babaho kuko natwe hari abatekinisiye b'inshuti zacu ubu ari umutekinisiye ubizi ushobora kuba waha ikintu akakigutwara kandi ubireba ukanaceceka.
Sinakubeshya iby'ubunyangabugayo mbukuziho, yewe hari n'akantu wanyigishije ariko sindi bugasangire n'abantu baturira mu rugo bazanshake nkababwire nta kantu cyerekeranye n'ibintu byo gushaje. Urakoze cyane.
Sawa, murakoze namwe.
Well, you're up to date today's business headlines. Sports news coming up next in just a minute with our very own Reggie Sheja.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for sports with me, Reggie Sheja. Local football first. Rayon Sport suffered a humiliating 4-0 loss to our rivals APR in the National Football League at Amahoro Stadium. The loss leaves the Blues 13 points adrift table leaders APR. Striker Michael Ndahinduka opened the scoring in the 75th minute before Emery Bayisenge converted a well-taken free kick from 30 yards past the helpless Rayon Sport goalkeeper Eric Ndaishimie 4 minutes later. In the 85th minute, midfielder Yannick Mukunzi headed the ball straight into the back of the net from a Jean-Claude Iranzi corner kick to give APR a quick 3-0 lead. A minute later, Maxime Sekamana, who was waiting strategically at the penalty spot, dispatched a brilliant strike into the back of the net. The win maintains APR's 7-point lead at the top of the table with 38 points, following AS Kigali's 3-0 win over Mukura Victory Sport. In local basketball, IPRC Kigali defeated Espoir 73-65 in the National Basketball League to become the first team to beat the 3-time reigning champions in the regular season. Steve Havudinwari and Dieudonné Ndizeye combined to score 52 points for IPRC Kigali, with 27 from Havugintwari and 25 from Dizeye, respectively. Seven-time champions, APR won their two weekend games, beating University of Rwanda's College of Arts and Social Sciences 83-54 and Cercle Sportif de Kigali 78-59. International tennis now. Rafael Nadal has slipped a place to fourth in the latest ATP rankings published yesterday after losing his first semi-final on clay in 12 years in Rio. The third spot previously occupied by the Spaniard is now filled by Andy Murray, last in action when losing a quarterfinal in Rotterdam 10 days ago. It is the first time Nadal has not figured in the top three since August 2013. Serbian Novak Djokovic, who heads the seeds at this week's Dubai Open, retains his steely grip on the rankings ahead of former number one Roger Federer. And now to European football. The round of 16 continues tonight in the UEFA Champions League as FC Barcelona visits Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. The La Liga side beat Manuel Pellegrini's team 4-1 on aggregate at the same stage last season, but is going through a mini crisis at the moment after not only losing to Malaga this past weekend, but also losing ground to eternal rivals Real Madrid. The reigning Premier League champions won 5-0 against Newcastle over the weekend, thanks mainly to a brace by David Silva. Borussia Dortmund will be traveling to Torino tonight to face Juventus. The German side beat Juventus when they last met in the 1997 final, with Dortmund claiming its only Champions League title to date. And now to boxing. Philippine boxing hero Manny Pacquiao may be facing the biggest fight of his career in undefeated rival Floyd Mayweather, but says he's taking it all in his stride, saying, quote, "This is just like any other fight I had before." The boxing champ appears so relaxed, he's even going ahead with his other job as playing coach of a local professional basketball team in Manila later this week. Boxing fans have been waiting for years for the bout between the two men, considered the best pound-for-pound fighters of their generations. After years of squabbling and negotiations, they will finally face off in Las Vegas on May 2nd in a fight that will unify the world welterweight crowns. Pacquiao says Mayweather will soon, quote, "learn the difference between watching him on screen and facing him in the ring." The Philippine has parlayed his boxing fame into a fortune as a commercial pitchman and member of parliament. The 38-year-old Mayweather has never lost in 47 fights. Pacquiao has 57 victories and 5 defeats, including 2 suffered as recently as 2012. All right, stay tuned. Makeda and I will be right back after the break with a wrap-up of the news of the day.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news-making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
German investors are set to explore in the country's energy sector following a visit by a business delegation led by Germany's Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Frank-Walter Steinmeier. The delegation looked into investment opportunities in mining, energy, infrastructure, agro-processing and ICT. The minister also had a meeting with President Paul Kagame to discuss ways of strengthening both bilateral and economic partnerships between the two countries. Officials said that investing in the energy sector could help boost the government's efforts to generate 563 megawatts by 2017, help reduce import bills, and provide job opportunities to Rwandans.
The World Food Programme has donated 60 grain dryers to small-scale farmer cooperatives nationwide. The Grain Pro dryer cases, whose ventilation fans are powered by solar energy or grid power, are expected to help strengthen the capacity to dry produce quickly. Officials said that the cases would enhance the quality of grain, reduce post-harvest loss, and help farmers produce good quality maize for international markets. The World Food Programme assists more than 40,000 farmers affiliated to cooperatives in the eastern, northern, and southern provinces.
The government has announced plans to increase the validity of driving licenses to 10 years from the current 5 years. This comes after an order by the Ministry of Infrastructure was approved by Cabinet last week to determine the validity and requirements for the renewal of the national driving license. Officials said for one to renew their license, they will also be required to provide a medical certificate issued by a registered doctor. The order is expected to be sent to the Minister for Justice for review before it can be implemented.
The government has launched an 8-month campaign across the country against teenage pregnancy. The initiative, supervised by the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion together with the Ministry of Education, is expected to be conducted in more than 90 schools across the country. This comes after a report showed that 6% of girls aged between 15 and 19, especially in rural areas, are already bearing children. Officials said that parents have a big role in shaping the morals of their children in order to prevent teenage pregnancy.
And in international news, Liberia has reopened its land border crossings which were shut down during the Ebola outbreak. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf also lifted the nationwide curfew imposed on August to help combat the virus. Her orders come shortly after schools in the country were reopened after a 5-month shutdown. The virus has killed about more than 9,000 people, mostly in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The World Health Organization said the number of new cases in Liberia had declined compared to the 2 other countries, a positive sign in the nation that was the epicenter of the deadly virus.
Okay, lots more still to come. Lifestyle is up next, and a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
It's the month of love. Buy tickets this February with Rwanda and stand a chance to get in a lucky draw for a romantic getaway in Mombasa. 3 lucky couples stand a chance to win an all-expense paid holiday for 3 days and 2 nights at the White Sands Beach Resort and Spa. Yes, we are connecting dreams.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for Lifestyle. Alan, what do you have for us?
Actually, it's not me. Makeda has a musical treat for us.
It's like we're playing music with chairs here. I don't know what's happening.
I know. Story of the day, lifestyle.
That's
I like
right.
it.
Mixing
I like
it up.
All right.
Earlier this month, he performed for thousands of people in Goma, DRC. Shortly thereafter, he came to Rock Kigali, and reggae lovers have been reeling ever since. It was Ivorian powerhouse Tiken Jah Fakoly's first time to perform in Rwanda, so I sat down with him to find out a bit more about him and how he was faring in the land of 1,000 hills. Check it out. During his very first trip to Rwanda, hot off the heels of his headlining performance at the Isano Music Festival at Amahoro Stad, Rise and Shine Rwanda went to meet with the man behind the reggae.
My name is Tiken Jafakoli. I'm a reggae maker from Ivory Coast, but I like to say I'm African.
Tiken Jafakoli is considered to be one of the leaders of African reggae, having been a crowd favorite for years. His music has resonated with many people, not only for the moving melodies, but also for the ever-present social commentary that he has become known for.
Today, Africa must wake up, because nobody will change Africa for the African. You know, we come from slavery, colonization, we are in the process. You know, I am not surprised today to see some war, you know, in Africa. I think all that is a process, you know, because we get our independence 52 years, you know, so we are so young, like a country. So we're trying with reggae music to wake up African people and just tell them that nobody will change this continent for us, you know. So this is why we talk about politics, society, you know, everything which can wake up African people.
And he doesn't only talk the talk, having spearheaded community building campaigns benefiting the entire continent.
We build 5 schools today in Africa. We build 2 primary schools in Ivory Coast, 1 primary school in Burkina Faso, 1 college in Mali, and we just built 1 school in Niger. And my dream is to build a school in all African countries. It's just to give the message, the very important message about education. Because I'm sure when Africa will wake up, and I'm sure just education will wake up Africa, and people will stop fighting, doing war, and fighting together against government, pushing the government to work. I think the next school, we'll build the next school in Cameroon.
And speaking of kids and young people, he had a word for all the creatives just starting out in the industry.
It's not easy today because the industry of the music is down, so it's not easy to get money with music today. But if they have conviction and talent, they just need to have all the courage to continue, and they need to have something original. For example, if Rwanda young people want to do music, can be reggae music or another music, it's very important to have something original. You can have success in your country, and you can have success outside your country if you have some music which is original, because people want to see something which they never see.
Before we wrapped up, since this is his first time in the heart of Africa, I couldn't let him leave without asking him his impression of Rwanda.
Very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to see African country when, you know, I can feel people respect the nature. So when we were traveling, I saw, I can feel people working in the farm, you know. That is very important for Africa, to have some food. You know, we don't need to bring food from outside.
It may have been his first trip to Rwanda, but here's hoping that it won't be his last. Makeda Mahario, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
That was really cool, Makeda.
Thank you very much.
Now, I wasn't able to go to the concert, but how did Rwandans receive him?
I mean, it was quite strange. Let me tell you why. Because I love reggae. I've grown up with reggae my whole life.
Really?
But, yes, I know, shocker. Yeah, I grew up around reggae. I've always loved it. but I wasn't that familiar with Tiken
reggae?
Jah Fakoly,
Okay.
especially since, you know, it's French and, you know, I just wasn't that familiar with it. But at the concert, and this is the concert here that was at Amahorostad, I mean, people were going crazy. People loved it so much.
Right.
And it was a rainy day. It was a Tuesday. So I was like, okay, maybe, you know, there'll be a crowd, but maybe not that big of a crowd. But I mean, there were a lot of people, and the people that were there had such a blast. They were singing every word to the songs.
Yeah.
And it was so strange because I was like, I know reggae. Like, why
Right.
don't I know these songs?
Right.
But yeah, people had a great time and people really loved him. Yeah.
No, it's one thing I realized after talking to certain people. He's huge in a lot of places, not just Africa, but even in Europe.
In Europe, very big. Yeah. very
he's big in France. In fact, I guess a lot of the French-speaking countries is where he's got a lot of fans.
Right. So actually, where he was in Goma before he came here, like he mentioned, and he actually performed to a crowd of 8,000 people over there. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, it was a big concert. Some friends of mine were there, and they told me that it was just electric. It was amazing. And right now, he's living in Mali. But he says that when he goes back home to Côte d'Ivoire, people are just swarming him. People really, really love him. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he's very popular. Very popular.
And so I wanted to know, like, did he mention anything about what he's upcoming? What is he going to do in the future, in the near future?
Yes.
or-
So actually, he is planning a trip to Jamaica. I think next month or the following month, and he's going to do a whole album that's basically covering some of his favorite reggae songs that he grew up with. So from different artists like Bob Marley and U-Roy and Burning Spear and different reggae artists that have just inspired him. And he said that he wanted to do that because once Bob Marley said that, you know, reggae originally comes from Africa and one day it will go back to Africa.
Right.
So he's saying that he kind of wants to play off of that
Okay.
and fulfill that prophecy, I suppose. So he's
Right.
going to go record the songs and then he's going to bring it back to Mali, and they're going to go over with some African instruments, with some traditional African instruments. So it should be really, really cool.
And
He
I'm
also has
sh-
some shows in France coming up as
And
well.
I'm sure in Jamaica they'd appreciate that, don't you think?
I think people will really like it. I think they'll like it.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I love that, you know, he seems to be a very conscious artist. He cares about his environment, about the continent of Africa, and you know, he mentioned some good things about Rwanda as well, being very green and whatnot. What was your take when you were speaking to him? He seems like such a knowledgeable and, you know...
Yeah. You know what? He said that, you know, well, you heard what he was saying, that he kind of wants Africans to realize that no one's going to fix the continent for us.
Right.
We have to do it ourselves. So that's why he talks about a lot of social issues and political things. But he also said that, I asked him if he wasn't a musician, what would he be? And he said 100% he would be a farmer.
Oh,
he
wow.
loves farming and he has farms, and he just loves the importance of, or he thinks that it's very important that we learn how to kind of feed ourselves.
Right.
He was like, you know, we're in Africa, we have land, we have sunshine, and we have water. There's no reason for us to have to get food from anywhere else, you know?
Right.
And I think that's important. He's very aware of that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, well, now you know a French reggae artist. and-
I know, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
You know, I'm not gonna miss his next show. Hopefully, he'll come back to Rwanda.
He really wants to, so I'm looking forward to that. Can I tell you, when I was actually editing this video, you know, I put some of his music videos and some of his songs in there, and ever since all day, I was just singing every one of his songs, not knowing what they meant, just
Really?
singing them. Yeah, they're so catchy. Man.
Does he only sing in French, or also he sings in other languages?
Well, from what I heard, it's all French, but there could possibly be some, perhaps Ivorian.
Because I
I'm
thought
not sure.
in the video there was something in English. Was there any English in there, or was that was all French?
It was all French.
it
Well,
was
there
just-
was a part where he said, you know, hello Kigali and
Oh,
things
okay.
like that, but
Well, that's
yeah, it
about
was pretty much.
And his English is pretty good, actually, I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, he's an international superstar.
Hey.
Yeah, you know.
All right. I see you, Makeda. Thank you so much, Makeda.
Thank you too.
All right, stay tuned. Hot Topics is coming right up. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, you can join in on the debates through our social media. whether it's on Facebook or on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Let's get into our first hot topics. All right, guys. So I was reading an article recently about, this young girl who got pregnant unintentionally, and felt this pressure from, I guess, the way our culture is to get married, which led me to think about this topic, which might be controversial, but I feel like, we can talk about it, since I feel like, we're open enough to talk about things like this. Now, what do you guys think about, sometimes, I'm sure you've all heard stories of, young people who end up getting married because, the young lady has gotten pregnant. Now, do you guys think that marriages like that usually last, or are they really something that people should do just because someone is pregnant?
You say people get married because they're pregnant?
No, like a young lady will get pregnant, and then from the pressure of the family or just
I
society.
even know about older people who get married because of pressure
of pregnancy. And usually they'll try to get married before she even has the baby. That way it doesn't look as bad. But for me, what do you guys think? How do you guys think about this? I understand that there's a cultural aspect to this, but at the same time, if you think about the long term of getting married to someone you're not in love with, does it really work?
This thing happens worldwide. They call it like a shotgun wedding, a quickie wedding that you do if there ends up being like an accidental pregnancy. But I think it's up to the couple, because even couples who get married just, because they want to, end up getting divorced. It's not most marriages that end in divorce are because of this. So it's kind of always a toss-up. I would say just try and be careful if you're going to get married anyway. But really, it's up to them if they want to. Because a lot of times it's also not just pressure. It's, religious reasons or whatever it is,
Cultural.
Yeah.
Trying to be righteous.
And I feel like, the parents, as opposed to like pushing these girls into getting married when they get pregnant, they should focus more on teaching girls about, anti-pregnancy and all these things, and boys, exactly, all these measures that they need to take, before this even happens, as opposed to telling them, get married after they get pregnant. They should focus more on that.
On preventing
it before it happens.
Absolutely. I think. Do you agree with everything they've said?
Well, I don't know if they should teach them about boys, but
they should. I think that a lot of times we tend to focus on reprimanding or teaching or whatever it is girls about teenage pregnancy, but girls don't get pregnant by themselves. So I think everyone needs to know about this and to know how to prevent it and to know, what to do in terms of, if you are going to have sex before you're supposed to or whatever it is. It's not just a one-sided thing. And the same education that goes for girls needs to go for boys. That's
so
all.
true.
Actually,
so true.
And it's funny because in the story of the day that we had earlier today, the lady who is part of the Ministry of Gender was saying that when they go to the schools to teach about anti-teenage pregnancy, they are not only going to speak to the girls, but they'll also speak to the boys as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next hot topic. Now, this is something that's trending on Twitter. Whether it's true or not, I was not able to find the actual facts, whether it's true, but it seems as though Porsche is trying to expand into Uganda, meaning that they want to basically, I guess, open a dealership in Uganda. Now, when I read that, I thought to myself, is there really a market to really sell Porsches in Uganda? Now, I wish Arnold was here to talk about it, because I'm sure he has an opinion about it. But what do you guys think? Porsches in Uganda?
Hey,
why not?
Go where the
why
money's
not?
at,
they discovered oil, right? So they're probably
And
preparing
then how many
themselves.
cars can you have in a dealership? Let's say 100, right? I'm pushing it. 100. Do you have 100 multimillionaires in Uganda? Probably. Maybe more. So.
Porsche is not stupid. They know why they're going there, I suppose.
Right.
They've probably done their research.
That looks good. That's what
I know, right?
Which road are you going to drive?
That's what I was also
You
going to
only
say.
go on
I don't know.
And I really hope for their sake that they'll have fixed, because the last time I was there, the roads had like potholes and it won't work with these Porsches. They might as well first invest in the roads and then
think about the Porsches. And it's funny because it shouldn't surprise me, because if you go to Kampala, you can actually find cars like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, which are like super sport cars that are normally for good roads, and yet somehow they're in Kampala. So
Like I
driving
say.
at like 1 km, you know,
No, driving like
per hour, just trying to, you know.
But like I said, if there's enough multimillionaires there, they can
Why
afford
not?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, inshallah, maybe one day we'll get there too.
Right.
All
You
right.
can bring your own Porsche, Alan. It's okay.
Thank you. One day.
And give me a
Okay.
ride because I'm never buying one of these. Okay, continue.
All right, on to the last hot topic. Now, you guys, obviously, over the weekend, it was Mr. Rwanda 2015, and part of the show, they premiered, actually, Ramsey Noah, who is a famous Nigerian actor, premiered his movie, which he acted with the Rwandan former Mr. Rwanda, Aurore. The movie is called Love Brewed in a Rwandan Pot. So while he was here premiering the movie and also attending the Miss Rwanda, he came with a Nigerian producer, and they were actually trying to scout a Rwandan who they could take back to become an actress.
Oh, a Rwandan lady.
A Rwandan lady, yes.
Nice.
And they actually, in the crowd, I was just speaking to the person, it's the first runner-up of Miss Rwanda, Vanessa Uwase. She was the one that they picked. Now, what happens after this? Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to offer her a scholarship. She's going to be going to school in LA.
That's Vanessa.
That's
There we
Vanessa
go.
right
Okay.
there with Ramsey Noah. She's going to be going to LA for a full scholarship to study acting. And then after she's done that, she's going back to Nigeria to star in a movie with Ramsey Noah.
Looks like
Oh,
first
cool.
runner-up is a winner after all.
I'm just saying, I mean, I thought it was a great deal. I mean, everything is paid for her, and, you know, she's going to be acting
And I
with
love the
Ramsey
fact
Noah.
that, you know, these guys are expanding into Rwanda and like looking for actors, really good thing.
Yeah.
The whole, you know, Miss Rwanda's target is to focus on talented
Right,
people
right.
in Rwanda, promoting them. So I think she should push for more people to go for things like
And
this.
it's
really
beautiful
good.
that they're giving her a scholarship, so it's not just, you know, go
No.
and wing
Yeah.
it. They're giving
No.
her education that she can use forever.
Absolutely,
really
and
good.
I forgot to mention, she also mentioned to me that they're going to sign her in LA as well with a production company.
Nice.
So she'll not only have, you know, LA, but she'll have Nigeria as
Should-
place.
Maybe I
Are
should
you,
do
are you
this.
living your dream through her?
Are you kidding? Dude? No, I'm just so proud
Ramsey,
of her.
I can act too. Just saying.
I'm so happy for her. I mean, you know what? I wanted one of those two to win at the end. No, actually, the top three. I wanted one of those three to win.
Right.
So I'm so happy that there was another opportunity there. You go, girl. Go, Vanessa.
All right.
Okay, well, nice little hot topic
We'll stay
situation.
tuned and watch her in Nigeria.
Oh
one day.
yes, I will be watching. Don't forget that we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us ideas for programs. Tag us, all of that. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports that we do. Follow us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your pics. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your feedback and do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. We'll be back here, same time, same place tomorrow, so please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, except for Arnold, we miss you, Arnold. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.